What's going on, guys? New strategy trading right back at you with another live surprise video tonight. Oh, yeah, we got a full house tonight. New strategy team is in the building. We got Cash Kids, which is our children's program. We are live. This is a surprise class. As everyone knows by now, we have we have private classes, but we every now and then we like to give a little sneak peek, let the people know what's going on, give some updates, current updates on market trends, and things of that nature. So this evening is a very special program. We won't be long, but we will be going over the Bitcoin updates, of course. We'll be going over some trade updates that we actually got into this week. And we will also be going over why we got into a particular trade, Apple, which did a pattern failure. And we're going to be talking about trend lines. All right. These are things that our Cash Kids program actually just had curriculum. We sent them curriculum this past week. They were studying trend lines. And so we're going to go over that. And we're going to teach on a pattern failure for our advanced traders, which is a head and shoulders failure. So without further ado, let's get started, guys. My new strategy team, and if y'all have a question anytime while I'm doing this, feel free to unmute yourself and ask that question. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen and pull up the charts, guys. As everybody knows by now, new strategy trading, we use TradingView site for the charts. You can use whatever site you want. We like TradingView. I specifically like how TradingView gives you easy access to the trading tools and different charts. I like how the tool access mostly in the indicators. That's what I like mostly about TradingView. All right, so on our last video we did, guys, about Bitcoin, we talked about we made some major buys back in Bitcoin because of technical indicators, which was the broken trend line. Now, by now, all of our traders know how to identify trends. We know how to identify uptrends. We know how to identify downtrends. We know what moving averages are. We know how to use moving averages with the flow of the bars, which is these Japanese candlestick bars. Of course, the green bars represent up days. The red bars represent down days. Then you have other patterns like this hammer here, you got shooting stars, you got engulfing, you got all different kind of patterns within the bars. But trend lines connect the highs and the lows of a current stock. So when a stock is going down, you want to take your line here, your trend line indicator here on the left, the trend line tools, and you want to draw a line from the high, connecting all the highs, right? Now, when we did that here, this high connected this high, you'll notice that as soon as Bitcoin dropped and got pulled sideways and went back, as soon as it touched that trend line, that downward trend line, because Bitcoin has been in a downward trend for the past 3 months. Overall, of course, it's in an uptrend. But for the past 3 months, it's been in a downtrend. But as soon as it hit that downward trend line here, it gave you a bearish candlestick, a shooting star, and then boom, it dropped. Now, we noticed this date, February 4th, when we notified everybody that it broke that trend line. And we began to make major buys around 41,000. Of course, Bitcoin now is at 43.8, and it hit a high of 45. Now, it's broken the trend line. It's also broken the red 50-period moving average. All right, it's working on probably building a base right here around this 44, 45 level, and then it eventually break above that. Next target, of course, is the 200-period moving average, which is right around this 52,000 resistance. Then, of course, after that, it'll be back to breaking new highs. But this is the reason. Now, some of us have been in Bitcoin for a long time. Of course, I have 25% of mine that I'll never sell. But we begin to make buys back into it after this happened, after we got the trend line break, right? So that's extremely important. So all my traders right now, we know exactly how to identify these trends, and we know what to look for when the trend is reversing. Because if you go to the daily chart and for the past 3 months, you're saying, okay, Bitcoin's been in a downtrend. Once it broke that trend, now this is a reversal. So the trend is over. The 3-month downtrend is now officially done. It's over. All shorts must be covered, and now is a good time to start accumulating if you wasn't already accumulating, or if you wasn't already in it. Do we have any questions on trend lines, guys? If not, we can go to Apple chart, so we can show what exactly Apple did. Now, this is the daily chart on Apple. And hold on, let me check something. Okay. I don't think we got no questions. All right. Good to go. Okay. This is the daily chart, but I want to go to the hourly chart because this is what we were playing this off of. We had already caught profits from shorting Apple. I think we caught 2 profits from shorting Apple, Ebony and I. And we went in to take another short and kind of took it a little too low. I had assumed that the head, because we saw the head and shoulders forming. Shoulder, this hourly chart, head, boom, shoulder. Beautiful shoulder, right shoulder. I mean, just long wicks all in the right shoulder. Finding resistance at a falling 20. It was just picture perfect to short. So we took our first short around 173. And we instantly made profits. I think we took some profits, got back in, boom, took some more profits. Then we got in a third time, and we actually got profits. But by the end of the day, the bar pulled up and gave a hammer pattern. Let me draw my arrow here. This hammer pattern. And this hammer pattern actually was so strong that it reversed the head and shoulders. So instead of the head and shoulders continuing down, this hammer, which is bullish, reversed last hour of the trading day as well. Last hour. Reversed and then boom, popped up. Now, by the time it got up here, we had already got out. Stop was around 173, I assume, for that last trade. And I said, I had to go back to my charts and analyze that this is a failed pattern, a pattern failure. And what's important is pattern failures are sometimes as strong as regular patterns themselves, meaning this failed head and shoulders can trigger a reversal so strong, stronger than just a regular bullish pattern. Right, because the reversal, this is a picture perfect head and shoulders forming. Just so happened when it got back down to the neckline, it gave a bullish candlestick and reversed. So reversal patterns are almost just as strong, guys, as regular patterns. When they reverse to the other way and you were wrong, and you always have a stop loss because you protect yourself from big losses, you cannot be afraid to reverse your position and go the other way. All right. Now, speaking of that, if we take a trend line and if we take and connect the high of this head and connect the right of that shoulder, right, the 2 lower highs to make a downward trend line like this, we'll notice something else. We'll notice something real peculiar. And I want to ask, I'm going to unmute everybody's mic. Okay. I want to ask. Oh, you got to unmute your mic. A set, and it looks like okay. There's Memphis right now. See. Okay, let me unmute Memphis. Memphis, you got to unmute yourself as well. So, now we just talked about that trend line break on Bitcoin. Now, a set. Do you see anything particular about what's happening here when I drew this trend line? And this bar here did the same thing Bitcoin did. It broke above that trend line. Now would you think that is a sign that it's going to continue going up or go down?
Going up.
Huh?
Going up.
Right. It's a sign that it's going to continue to go up because it broke a downward trend line. Furthermore, it gave a big green bar. And you guys already knew from the first class that big green bars are bullish. So what this means is, guys, let me explain to you the power of these green bars. What this means is that means this big green bar, right, is a very powerful bar. It broke that trend line. It gave you big volume, which is the amount of institutions buying. And it closed at the top of the day. That's the most powerful bar you can get, pretty much. That's the most bullet. And the next bar, these two bars for 2 hours, Apple gave you the strongest candlestick bars that exist. They're called Marubosus. Oliver Velez call them big fat green bar. I mean, people got different names for them, but the low and the high is at the max. It went up nonstop, right? What that does is this. That does something. I'm going to explain this. This is important. These bars, right? And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it just for this one bar. I'm not even going to include it for this, even though it is. And I should, so I am. All right. These big bars, these big breakout bars, notice the moving averages are tight as well. And tight moving averages represent a big move ahead. These big green bars, Marubosu bars, Japanese candlestick, they create a force field of energy to the right, of green energy, green support. This is all support areas. The power of these bars carry to the right of it. Just like if you go down here, the power of these bars, notice something. Watch this. Let me show you something. These bars here. Let's take these 3 breakout bars. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Matter of fact, let's just take this last big green bar and connect the low, align to the low of that bar. And then, of course, let's pretend it's aligned to the high. Man, I'm going to draw it just because I want y'all to see it. The top of this bar. I'm going to erase this one just to get it out the way. All right. This one green bar is so strong and powerful, backed up by the volume. It creates this force field, this zone to the right of it. Remember, everything to the right of this big green bar is falling into a support zone. Support is good, is bullish. Support means it's falling into power. Resistance is big red. We already went through a lot of that. So after this big green bar, Apple continued to rise, right? And then when it rose up about a third or fourth push, it got tired and it fell and it went down. But notice as soon as it got into the zone, into the support zone of this big green bar, it started halting. It stopped dropping. Then it went up, came right back down. Notice how it just paused in this zone. Just nice, tight, sideways action. And then all of a sudden, wow, you have this huge green bar that emerges out of nowhere, out of this zone created by this green bar, broke that trend line. Now these bars have created the same zone. So any drift from Apple down in this area is good. I actually buy more probably. This is support is bullish. All right. So those green bars represent areas of support, of bullishness on the chart. Keep that in mind, guys. I just wanted to give you that extra information. All right. So we got Apple trade. We're looking good on Apple already. We eating on Apple. Bitcoin is looking good. Let me go back to Bitcoin one last second, because everybody is invested in Bitcoin. Not everybody is invested in options, but everybody is invested in Bitcoin. That's the same thing for Bitcoin. If you just look at this hourly chart on Bitcoin, right? 1 hour chart. I never look at 1 hour charts on Bitcoin because 1 hour is a small chart and Bitcoin is long term for me. But you notice it went up. It gave you a bunch of tight action. Wow, look at that. Wow. Huge green bar right off of those moving averages. This Bitcoin drifted down just right into that bar and just continued to take off, make new green bars, right? Now you got so Bitcoin made a high of around 45,000. Now it's drifting around 43.5, right? Bitcoin is extremely volatile. These may look like big moves, but it's really not. This is an hourly chart. So when it got up here, it found some resistance and took a breather. Came, pulled back down. I actually think I might have bought another portion during that time or during around this time. And then what do we have? Now, kids, I know y'all see that. Alana, what kind of bar is this right here? If you don't mind answering that question for me, what is this? Is this a bar that means that the price is going to go up or going to go down?
Go up.
Up, right? Precisely. But what's happening? It's falling. But it's falling into, guess what? Our support zone. This is all support zone this is falling into. All support of that huge bar. So if I was like swing trading or something or day trading Bitcoin, I'll be buying as it's drifting down into that bar. It's all in this support zone. Furthermore, you still have the zone of this bar down here. Right? So Bitcoin already came down, boom, popped up, gave you a big bullish bar. Now it's pulling back. So a person who doesn't know how to really read charts may see this and say, oh my God, this is an hourly chart. Like I say, this is a small chart. May see this and say, oh my God, Bitcoin is dropping. But they don't recognize that it's dropping into power. And that's the same thing that's happening. So if I go back to the daily chart, just to wrap it up, just to finish up on Bitcoin, Bitcoin is now, so we can now maybe start to see and expect bigger gains coming now, because it has officially broken the downtrend. The downtrend is done. This right here, this bar here, February 4th, daily bar, ended the downtrend because it completely annihilated that downtrend line and gave you the biggest, strongest candle you can that exists on huge volume. So any drift down here is okay. I'm not panicking about that. Like I say, Bitcoin is long term. Any drift, it's already broken over the 10 and the 20. Actually, it did a cross as well. The 10 crossed over the 20. These are all terms you guys are going to become more familiar with. But anyway, it's just showing so much bullishness. So like I said, any drop down into that zone is bullish because we know the trend is over. The downtrend is done. All right. So I just wanted to share that. Guys, do we have any questions by chance? Do everybody understand what's going on? What I will say, everybody answered correctly. So I'm proud, and that lets me know everybody's learning. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, so what we've done now is the trend line. So the next set of homework you guys are going to get is going to be about support and resistance lines. Then we'll get more into moving averages. Then we'll do a recap and tie it all together and continue with the process. But right now, everybody's fully invested in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is doing great. The Apple call options are looking great. The Bank of America call options are looking great. So everything is looking good to go, man. It was a good class, and I'm glad everybody's learning. And I will be sending that curriculum next for support and resistance.
Thank you so much.
All righty, guys. Hey, New Strategy Trading signing out, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this quick lesson, this quick class. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to send me an email at newstrategytrading@gmail.com, or just send me an inbox on my Facebook, New Strategy Trading, Facebook, New Strategy Trading, YouTube. Go follow that page. Go like that page. Thumbs up. Signing out, guys. Have a wonderful night.